Tazbah, if you could you sit right here and just let me know if there's any comments about audio problems or anything like that? This is the crossing of the staffs, which means that anybody that is not an officer or above may come up to the podium. La Yasha'Allah, which means to Israel. So Majum, which means to stand. Wapanya Haki Dum means to turn and face the east. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawu, Shabbat Shemayim, Kudash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahawah, Malakutka, Tawa'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'a Ratazah, Kawur, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathan, Lanawa, Lakam, Call, Yabum, Wasalakanaw, Kwabawatanaw, Kasalakanaw, Kwabawathianaw, Wala'ah, Tabayayanaw, Banasai one, Abal, Hawashayanaw, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, with the power, Aman. The Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. The prayer for the Hakak, or the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Bokusha, Nuthananawa, Hakak, La Rapa'ah, Kal Makala, Wakal Marawa, Hakak, Latahor, Hamatazarayim, Hakak, Lahakim, Hamathium, Hakak, Al Rakawat, Hatama Allah, Lagarshan, Ba'ashem Yahushua, the water Aman. Prayer for the power in the English. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Pray for the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh. Wa Yahushua. Wam Yaka Allah. Wa Ahayim. Matazabya. Alawak Yahana. Ha Alawapyam. Hazaranyam.
Isarayim.
Ha Quatazayanyam.
I Quasasayim.
Ha Kayayam.
I Kayayim.
Waha Aquapian.
What a quaffy.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bashim Yahushua.
By Shimi Shot.
The one on one.
The one on one.
Purpose of blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahushua.
And Yahushua.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
And the angels.
Commanding General Yohanan.
Commander General Yohanan.
The generals.
The generals.
The captains.
The captains.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah.
Asha'ah.
Ayanya.
Ayanya.
Al-Hohorim.
Al-Yohorim.
Ma'ayan.
Ma'ayan.
Yaba'ah.
Yaba'ah.
Izaria.
Isarian.
Izaria.
Isarian.
Ma'ayin.
Ma'ayin.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Ashah.
Shamayam.
Shoyam.
Wa'aratazah.
Ratazah.
Al-Yathan.
Al-Dun.
Lamawat.
Yamawat.
Ragolka.
Wagolka.
Al-Yanawam.
Al-Yalawam.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Hana.
Hanat.
La'ah.
La'at.
Yanawam.
Yalawam.
Wala'ah.
Wala'at.
Yayashan.
Waishan.
Shawamar.
Shaymar.
Yasha'ala.
Yashala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tazolka.
Zarka.
Al.
Al.
Yad.
Yad.
Yomyaka.
Yanyaka.
Yawamam.
Yomom.
Hashamash.
Hashamash.
La'ah.
La'at.
Yakaka.
Yakaka.
Wayirak.
Wayirak.
Bal Ya'ala.
Bal Yahala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamarka.
Yashamarka.
Makol.
Makol.
Rai.
Rai.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Napashka.
Oscar Pashka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Taza'aka.
Tasaaka.
Wabawa'aka.
Wabagaaka.
Ma'aitha.
Maita.
Wa'aid.
Wa'ai.
Awalam.
Alam.
Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From which cometh from my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber or sleep.
Yahweh
Yahweh
is thy keeper.
is our keeper.
Yahweh
Yahweh
is thy shade upon thy right hand.
is our shade for our right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh
Yahweh
shall preserve thee from all evil.
shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve our soul.
Yahweh
Yahweh
shall preserve thy going out
shall preserve by going out
and thy coming in
and thy coming in
from this time forth
from this time forward
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim,
Allahayim,
all Damayah,
all Dawiyah,
Lakah,
Lakat,
all Fakarash,
all Fakiwa,
Wa'ol,
Wa'o,
Dashakwat,
the Shakwa,
all
all
Kaya,
Kaya,
Hana,
Ana,
Awayabyaka,
our Yayka,
Yahama,
Yahama,
Yawan,
Yawan,
Ra'ash,
Wa'ash,
Al Aimaka,
Al Amaka,
Ya'arayamwa,
our Yama,
Sawada,
Shawada,
Wayatha,
Waita,
Ya'atazawa,
Ajisawa,
Al Tadapawanyaka,
Tozabawanika,
Amarawa,
Amawa,
Lakawa,
Yakawa,
Wanaki Dum,
Wanaki Dum,
Magoya,
Mogoya,
Wala'a,
Wala'at,
Yazakar,
Wasakar,
Sham,
Sham,
Yasha'ala,
Yasha'ala,
Iwada,
Awada,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Noah Itazawa,
No Ajisawa,
Labak,
Labat,
Yakabwa,
Yakawa,
Al Yaka,
Al Yaka,
Baryak,
Boya,
Yakarathwa,
Yakawafu.
Aholia,
Ahoyu.
Arawam,
Arawam.
Wayashamai,
Washmai.
Alayum,
Ayum.
Mawa'aba,
Moawa.
Wahagaria,
Mogaria.
Gabal,
Kabal.
Wa'aimawan,
Your Ayuan.
Waimalak,
Wayula.
Palashat,
Posha.
Aim,
Ayim.
Yeshabia,
Moshavi.
Tazawar,
Tazawar.
Gam,
Gam.
Ashawar,
Ashwar.
Nalawa,
Nalawa.
Aimum,
Amon.
Haywa,
Ayuwa.
Zarawai,
Zoywan.
Labanya,
Banya.
Lawat,
Lewat.
Selah,
Shalat.
Asha,
Ashat.
Lahum,
Lahum.
Kamadian,
Kamani.
Kasa Yasara,
Kajajashwa.
Kayabian,
Kayabian.
Baraka'o,
Orkao.
Kayashawan,
Washwan.
Yashamadwa,
Nashimagu.
Ba'ayan Da'ara,
Ayin Dao.
Hayawa,
Ayuwa.
Daman,
The Mun.
La Adama,
Lautama.
Shayathamwa,
Shantumwa.
Nala,
La'a.
Yab Mawa,
Yamawa.
Ka'ira,
Ka'ira.
Wakaza'aba,
Wakasa'awa.
Wakazabak,
Wakasaba.
Wakatazal,
Wakatazar.
Wanai,
Wanai.
Ko,
Ko.
Nasayakamwa,
Nasikumbwa.
Ashar,
Ashar.
Amarwa,
Marwa.
Nayarashat,
No you shot.
Lanawa,
No.
Ah, Nawa,
Now what?
Alahayum,
Are you want yum?
Ahaya,
Are you sure?
Shayathamwa,
Shadungwa.
Kagogola,
Gola.
Kakwash,
Kagwash.
Lapanya,
Panya.
Rawaka,
Woka.
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash.
Tabaira,
Dawa Ira.
Ya'ira,
Ya Ira.
Wakalahaba,
Wokaba Awa.
It's like Talahat,
Dalahat.
Haryam,
Haryam.
Khan,
Khan.
Daradakma,
Dogatmu.
Basa'arika,
Washayaka.
Wabasa,
Wabasa.
Wapaka,
Wapaka.
Tabahalam,
Dabalahum.
Mala'a,
Mara.
Hanyaham,
Ayahum.
Palawan,
Kaywan.
Wayabakashwa,
Wayakashwa.
Shimka,
Shikar.
Yahawa,
Yahaw.
Yabashwa,
Shabashwa.
Wayaba'awa,
What you call over?
Aidia,
Item.
I, Wayakaparwa,
What you quarrel?
Wayabadwa,
What you fight?
Wayadaiwa,
What you die with?
Kaya,
Kaya.
Atha,
The
Shimka,
Shika.
Yahawa,
Yahaw.
Labaka,
The Baka.
All Yawan,
I the one.
All,
Oh.
Ko,
Call.
Ha'aratazah.
How our Rotterdam.
Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, hold your house.
Hold not thy peace,
Hold not thy peace.
and be not still, O Yahweh.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
For lo,
For lo,
thine enemies make a tumult,
thy enemies make a tumult.
and they that hate thee
And they that hate thee,
have lifted up the head.
they have lifted up their head.
They have taken crafty counsel
They are taking crafty counsel
against thy people,
against our people,
and consulted
and consulted
against thy hidden ones.
against our hidden one.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
come
and let us cut them off
and let us cut them off
from being a nation,
from being a nation,
that the name of Israel
that the name of Israel
may be no more in remembrance.
make it no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together
They have consulted together,
with one consent.
which one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom
The tabernacles of Edom
and the Ishmaelites
is the Israelites,
of Moab
all Moab,
and the Hagarim,
and the Hagarenes,
Gabal
Kabal,
and Evan
and Edom,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines
the Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre,
Assur also is joined with them.
and Sora also joined with them.
They have opened the children of Lot.
They are hoping our children of Lot
Selah,
shall not
do unto them
do unto them,
as unto the Midianites,
and unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of Kisan,
as the brook of Kazan,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Ored,
Make our nobles like a red,
and like Eve.
and the rest of Eve.
Yea,
Yea,
all their princes,
all the princes,
as Zeba,
and Zeba,
and as Zalmunna,
and Azamuda,
who said,
who said,
Let us take to ourselves
let us say to ourselves,
the houses of God in possession,
in a house of divine possession.
Oh, my power.
Oh, my power.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a wheel.
As they stumble before the wind.
As they stumble before the wind.
As the fire burneth the wood.
As the fire burneth the wood.
It is the flame set the mountains on fire.
And it is the flame that set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest.
And persecute them with our tempest.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
And make them afraid with our storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh.
Oh, Yahweh.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
And troubled.
In trouble.
Forever.
Forever.
Yea.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
And perish.
That men may know.
That they may know.
The thou.
In death.
Whose name alone.
Whose name alone.
Is Yahweh.
Is Yahweh.
Earth the most high.
Of the Most High.
Over all the earth.
Over all the earth.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathens.
That speak against us.
That speak against us.
Thy prophets.
Your prophets.
The teachers.
Your teachers.
The princes.
Your princes.
The priests.
Your priests.
The Israelite brothers.
The Israelite brothers.
And the school.
And the school.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathens.
And shake loose the treasure.
And shake loose the treasure.
Of the rich of Israel.
Of the rich of Israel.
They refuse to give to the school.
They refuse to get to the school.
Force their riches.
Force their riches.
To enter into thy sanctuary.
To enter into our sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nations.
And the nations.
And the drug dealers.
And the drug dealers.
The court system.
The court system.
The prison system.
The prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
The Pope.
Islam.
Islam.
Christianity.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Egyptology.
Militia.
Militia.
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation.
Skinhead.
The skinheads.
Posse Comitazi.
Posse Comitazi.
The gay movement.
The gay movement.
The lesbian
The
movement.
lesbian movement.
Spies.
Spies.
Workers of witchcraft.
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space program.
National space program.
Army.
Army.
Navy.
Navy.
Air Force.
Air Force.
Marines.
Marines.
Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet.
Open up the internet.
And the airways.
And the airways.
The cable access channels.
The cable access channel.
And the radio channels.
And the radio channel.
Convict the spirit
Convict the spirit
of any of thy people
of any of our people
that seek to stop us.
that seek to stop us
And bring swift destruction
and bring swift destruction
to all the heathens
to all the heathens
that stand in the way
that stand in the way.
or try to stop us from broadcasting your word
Who try to stop us from broadcasting your word
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go to and fro
Cause them to go to and fro
through the earth
through the earth
and consume them.
and consume them.
Let the plagues
Let the plagues
shake the house of the thief
shake the house of the thief
and the murderer.
and the murderers.
Let Yahweh,
Let Yahweh Shai,
Michael and Gabriel
Michael and Daniel
come down with the flying saucer
come down with the flying saucer
and punish all the heathen
and punish all the heathens
that come up against
that
us
come up against us
as we speak thy word.
as we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known
Cause it to be known
by all
by all
that it is the angels that have done it.
it is the angels that have done it.
Cause it to be spread
Cause it to be spread
through the media
through the media
throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always.
Always.
So be it.
So be it.
So, it's the turn. Yeshabia, which means to be seated. Hey, Shalom Christ. Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. One second. All right, you load up your blue letter Bibles. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32. It's like in verse 48.
Come.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 48. In Hebrew, We'dabar, Yahweh, all, Mashah, Baitazam, Hayawam, Hatah, La'amar, verse 49. Ilah, all, Har, Haibarium, Hatah, Har, Banawa, Ashar, Ba'aratza, Mawa'aba, Ashar, Al, Hanya, Yarakwa, Wara, Af, Arataza, Kawain, Ashar, Anya, Nathan, Labanya, Yasha'ala, La'achaza, verse 50, Umath, Bahara, Ashar, Atha, Ilah, Shemai, Wa'atak, all, Amayak, Kashar, Math, Aharon, Akayak, Bahar, Hahar. Wayatah. All. Amiyahu. Verse 51. Al. Ashar. Ma'ilatham. Baya. Bathawak. Banya. Yash'ala. Bamya. Maryabath. Kodash. Madabar. Tazan. Al. Ashar. La'ah. Kodashtam. Awathya. Bathwak. Banya. Yasha'ala. Verse 52. Kaya. Managad. Dara. Ah. Ha'arataza. Washema. La'ah. Tabawa. All. Ha'arataza. Ashar. Anya. Nathan. Labanaya. It's like Labanya. Yasha'ala. Pa. Book of Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 1 in the Hebrew. Waza'af. Habarak. Ashar. Barak. Mashah. Ayash. Ha'ahayim. Ath. Banya. Yasha'ala. Lapanya. Mawachwa. Verse 2. Wayamar. Yahweh. Matayanya. Ba. Was a rock. Mashayar. Lamawa. Ha. Wapayai. Mahar. Paharan. Watha. Marawabath. Kodash. Mayam Yanaw. Ashadath. Lamawa. 7. Clap it up. All right, we're going to go ahead and get it in English now. Actually, let me get a reader if I could. Is there a mic down there for either of you brothers to use?
No, it's up there. No,
There's no mic down there. All right, brothers have to lift up their voice. So I don't care who it is. But let me get Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 48.
Come. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 48. And the Lord spake unto Moses that selfsame day, saying, verse 49, get thee up into this mountain, Abiram, unto Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, that is over against Jericho. And behold, the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel for a possession. Verse 50, and die in the mount whither thou goest up, and be gathered unto thy people, as Aaron thy brother died in Mount Hor, and was gathered unto his people. Verse 51, because he trespassed among me, among the children of Israel, at the waters of Meribah Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin, because he sanctified me not in the midst of the children of Israel. Verse 52, let thou shalt see the land before thee, but thou shalt not go thither unto the land which I give the children of Israel.
You understand? So this is, of course, the Lord speaking to Moses, and he's letting him know how it is that he's going to see the land it is that the children of Israel are supposed to have as an inheritance, what's going to be our kingdom, but he's not going to get to go in that land. He's not going to get to enjoy all the fine things of our kingdom because he chose to take credit for something it is that the Lord had done. You understand? And that's something it is that brothers in the truth need to keep in mind. Like, that's why really every brother in the school is so humble. And whenever it is that you try to big them up for something, they say, oh no, that's the Lord. You know, that ain't got nothing to do with me. It's the spirit is the Lord put on me. You understand? That was power of the Lord, because you don't want to take credit. You don't want to take credit for what it is that the Lord has done. Otherwise, you might start to not to depend on the Lord. You understand? You might think that you'd be able to raise our people out of this hell all by yourself without needing the Most High God of Israel to be the power that really guides you and gets our people up out of here. Go ahead.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 1. And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death. Verse 2. And he said, the Lord came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints. From his right hand went a fiery law for them. Verse 3. Yeah, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand, and they sat down at thy feet. Everyone shall receive of thy words.
It's like read 3 from the top. It's like
Concord. Yeah, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand.
You understand? All the saints were in Moses' hand. Go ahead.
Come. And they sat down at thy feet. Everyone shall receive of thy words.
You understand? All the saints. You understand? The men of Israel, they sat at the feet of Moses to learn what it is that the Lord had told him. To learn the culture it is that we had as a people coming out of Egypt that the Lord had given to us. You understand? And so for Christians and fake Israelites to say that they don't learn from no man, that they learn, solely through the Holy Ghost or whatever it is that they say, that voice in their head that teaches them, is nonsense. Because Moses had to teach the nation, our culture, our laws, what it is that the Lord expects from us. And that's for anybody in these scriptures. You don't just, all of a sudden have this zapped into your head. If that was the case, shoot, Christian pastors, they wouldn't be the disgusting bastards it is they are today. They wouldn't be so money hungry, and they wouldn't be molesting children. They wouldn't be sleeping with other men's wives. They wouldn't be doing none of this, but yet they still do. They wouldn't be promoting sin amongst our people because you let them tell it. You understand? They've learned from the Holy Ghost, which if that was the case, our nation would not be in the condition that we've been in for so long. We'd be at the top of this earth, ruling over every other nation. We know who the devil is. We would, not be loving everybody, but we would love our own. That's why it's so important that you learn these scriptures from the proper master. You understand? The proper teacher, which is the men in the Isupk under commanding General Yohana. Otherwise, you're going to get a false doctrine and you will become a false prophet in the eyes of the Lord. Go ahead.
God. Verse 4. Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. Verse 5. And he was king in Jeshurun.
You understand? Moses, he was king in Jeshurun, meaning he was the leader of the people. You understand? He told them what it is they could do, what they couldn't do. He put, he told brothers to go put, this brother or this sister to death for what it is they was doing, or to, give them a fine, or, whatever punishment fit the crime it is that they did. Go ahead.
God. When the heads of the people and the tribes of Israel were gathered together. Verse 6. Let Reuben live and not die, and let not his men be few.
You know what I'm saying? And what we're getting into right now is the blessings is that the Lord was giving the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And this is the blessing of Judah. And he said, Hear, Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. Let his hands be sufficient.
It's like, read that from the top. Make sure you read every word.
Come. And this is the blessing of Judah. And he said, Hear, Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and be thou a help to him from his enemies. Verse 8. And of Levi he said, Let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One, whom thou didst prove at Massah, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah. Verse 9. Who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children, for they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant. Verse 10. They shall teach Jacob thy judgments, and Israel thy law, and shall put incense before thee, and whole burnt sacrifice upon thine altar. Verse 11. Bless, Lord, his substance, and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again. Verse 12. And of Benjamin he said, The beloved of the Lord shall dwell in safety by him, and the Lord shall cover him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders. Verse 13. And of Joseph he said, Blessed of the Lord be his land, for the precious things of heaven, for the dew and for the deep that coucheth beneath. Verse 14. And for the precious fruits brought forth by the sun, and for the precious things put forth by the moon. Verse 15. And for the chief things of the ancient mountains, and for the precious things of the lasting hills. Verse 16. And for the precious things of the earth, and fullness thereof, and for the good will of him that dwell in the bush, let the blessing come upon the head of Joseph, and upon the top of the head of him that was separated from his brethren. Verse 17. His glory is like the firstling of his bullock, and his horns are like the horns of unicorns. With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth, and they are 10,000s of Ephraim, and they are thousands of Manasseh.
You understand? And just real quick, just to summarize all this, basically it's talking about how it is that Joseph, with the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, how it is they'll have, like how their lands will be plentiful. You understand? Like how it is that they'll gain much off their land, off the fish of the sea. And a perfect example of that is whenever the oppressor of our people came over to these lands, you understand, and he went into these different countries, he saw how beautiful it was that the land was, how productive it was, how it is that the people didn't need for anything, how it is that we could pull so many fish out of the ocean. It was just absolutely ridiculous to them because the lands they came from, I mean, you know, they was throwing their feces in the streets. They was burying their dead in big holes. The police that was roaming their streets were their own gangs and were stealing from people, murdering people, raping women, doing all kinds of disgusting things that you expect from heathens. But yet when they came across the children of Israel in the land of what's now known as the Americas or Arsarith, you understand, they found out that we are far different from any other people they've ever came across. It didn't matter if they went into the land of Ham, if they went into the land of Ishmael or Elam, Ammon or Moab, you understand, our lands was far more peaceful, far more abundant and productive than anybody else's land. Go ahead.
Verse 18. And of Zebulun he said, rejoice, Zebulun, in thy going out, and Issachar in thy tents. Verse 19. They shall call the people unto the mountain. There they shall offer sacrifices of righteousness, for they shall suck of the abundance of the seas and of treasures hid in the land of the sand.
You understand? So Issachar and Zebulun, when they was over here, they was keeping the laws. They was still doing animal sacrifices. They was not only that, but like I said, they were pulling all kinds of lawful fish out of the waters to where the point where was nobody needed anything. And I have to bring the book, but it's a book called American Holocaust, I believe, and it's got like documented writings of Spaniards whenever it is they first came over here to these lands, and they was talking about the tribe of Issachar and how it is that they had cities floating on the water, and how it is that they had the most beautiful gardens that were absolutely breathtaking, and how they could only imagine that this was the closest thing to the Garden of Eden that was in the Bible. Like that's how you know that we are the people of these scriptures, because whatever it is that we do, these other nations, they just are absolutely mesmerized by it, and they'll always make comparisons of what we do to the people of the Bible. Go ahead.
Verse 20.
And Slakia, and of treasure is hid in the sand, You understand? Like the Issacharites were absolutely rich in gold before the Spaniards came over here and started stealing everything. Like you can go look in history and you can see how it is that the Spaniards took so much gold out of South America, especially out of Mexico, to the point of where their ships were sinking in the bays. Like they would try to sail across the ocean and take the newly found riches that they've stolen back to their king and queen, and those ships would sink into the bottom of the ocean because of how much gold they had packed onto their ships. Good. And we wonder why it is that Mexico is so poor. Why it is that they are living in such a hellish condition. It's because they have been robbed by our oppressor. No matter what it is that he wants to call himself. He wants to go by Spain, Portugal, America. Regardless of what his name is in this earth, he is still the devil that the Bible speaks of. And he is still crushes our people every day. I would say Mexico would not be in the condition it's in today financially if our oppressor was not the devil. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And of Gad he said, blessed he be that enlarger Gad.
And that's exactly what it is that the Isupk under Commander John Yohana does. We enlarge the tribe of Gad. Not saying that we do what our oppressor did and do a blood quantum test saying that you got this much native in your blood, then you can qualify for being native and you can enlist in a tribe. Yeah, the Lord don't deal with numbers, but how it is that we enlarge Gad is that we improve our people spiritually. You understand? We help our people in every aspect, and that's exactly what the Isupk under Command John Yohana did on the 18th of this month. You understand? There was a group of brothers across 3 states, really 4 states, that went out to the Menominee Reservation and gave out it was like a truckload of clothes to them brothers and sisters to ensure that they don't freeze to death this winter because nobody else is looking out for them. You understand? Like we showed them a brotherhood that they would have never have gotten anywhere else, not even from their own tribal government. The same natives that were supposed to be struggling alongside them, living in poverty, suffering from the same oppression it is that we all suffer from, and yet they still don't look out for them brothers and sisters. But the Isupk was there to look out for them, to give them what it is that they needed. Go ahead.
He dwelleth as a lion.
Meaning that these people were a warlike people, which you can, of course, go look in history. You can look at all the instances it is that God has waged war against our oppressor. And it can be for, whether it was from our oppressor going out and killing us or murdering us, going out and stealing from us, trying to starve us, from raping our women, from simply disrespecting us. Like we was ready to go to war with these bastards because we knew what was at stake if we didn't. And our oppressor seeks to keep the tribe of Gad down because of how warlike they are. And he knows that if Gad comes together, I'm assuming it's still super cat. And our oppressor knows that if he can keep the tribe of Gad from realizing who their brothers are and keep us from coming together, that he can keep us docile. He can keep us still singing and dancing in the drum circles. He can keep us high, having visions about different gods and whatever dreams it is that we have. Like he can keep us down as a people. But when we come back to keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, coming back to these scriptures and our true history and culture as a nation, you're going to see God militarized overnight. And that's thanks to the Lord putting the Spirit on commanding Jerry Yohana and the Isupk. Because without the Lord, man, all 12 tribes would be absolutely destroyed. There's a reason that were referred to as the dry bones.
You said where was he at?
I wasn't sure, Cap. I thought he was still in his room. I was so you'd have to ask.
She's in his room, John. She's someone went out the door. Like, Mickey.
Like, he not in his room.
Go ahead.
Oh God. And tear the arm with the crown of the head.
And this is, of course, talking about how it is that Gad would scout our oppressor and all the disgusting inhabitants of his nation. But of course, something it is that our people don't know is that Gad wasn't the one that had started the scalpel. It was our oppressor. It was our oppressor who was paying pounds. If you don't know, that's British currency. Who was paying pounds for scalps of men, women, and children. It was a way for these devils to get rich. And in retaliation, Gad decided to do the same thing to these bastards. And now, our oppressor just looks at us like we are the utmost savages for doing so. Go ahead.
Verse 21. And he provided the first part for himself, because there in a portion of the lawgiver was he seated.
You understand? When Gad was first in these lands, he took it upon himself to be the new priest, to keep the law and to ensure that the people kept the law. That's why when he was over here, we was doing sacrifices. You understand? We kept the fringes and border of blue. We had priests known as shaman, and we did what we could to keep the whole law and to ensure that the nation kept it. Go ahead.
Oh, God. And he came with the heads of the people. He executed the justice of the Lord and his judgments with Israel.
And whenever someone broke the law, we would punish them according to the scriptures. And you can go look. There's a few historical books that the school has found, and we've posted links to them on our website, www.isupk.com. You understand? And you can go look at the different books it is that we have found that has archaeology, historical instances and as well as quotes from devils who have studied the Hispanics or Latinos and natives, and how it is that they have compared our culture and how it is that we carry ourselves to the 12 tribes of Israel in the Bible. And these historians or people who have studied the tribes, they've even said that we must be the 10 lost tribes of the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Okay, verse 22.
Sorry, Kat, did you want the class?
No.
Okay.
And of Dan, he said, Dan is a lion's whelp. He shall leap from Bashan. Verse 23. And of Naphtali, he said, O Naphtali, satisfied with favor, and the full with the blessing of the Lord, possess thou the west and the south. Verse 24. And of Asher, he said, let Asher be blessed with children. Let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil. Verse 25. Thy shoes shall be iron and brass, and as thy days, so shall thy strength be. Verse 26. There is none like unto the God of Jeshurun, who rideth upon the heaven in thy help, and in his excellency on the sky. Verse 27. The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms, and he shall thrust out the enemy before thee, and shall say, destroy them. Verse 28. Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also his heavens shall drop down dew. Verse 29. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Lord, the shield of thy health, and who is the sword of thy excellency. And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places.
You understand? And that's exactly what's happening today, is our enemies are being found as liars. That's why there's such an uproar in America today about Kyrie Irving and Kanye West talking about, well, either promoting a book that talks about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians being the Israelites, or specifically so-called Negroes being the Jews, and why there's such an uproar about Blacks being the Israelites is because the lies in this earth that have been pushed for so long and that have been reinforced by the governments of our enemies are starting to come down. Like people don't realize, unless you're in the ISUPK, you don't realize how it is that our oppressor is scrambling every which way to try to disprove these brothers and what it is that they've simply, they've simply played a game of telephone with. You understand? Because they've heard the truth from the ISUPK, but they don't have the full truth. But what it is that they're bringing out is just enough to spark the interest of our people and to cause them to research these things and to look into these things. And by doing so, I mean, our oppressor knows his kingdom, it's right there at the edge. Because when we wake up to who it is that we really are, I mean, it's all over. You understand? Like, it's going to be a new world in this earth. And that world is going to be ruled by Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Go ahead.
You want me to go to 34?
Yeah, bullshit.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 34, verse 1. And Moses went up from the plains of Moab unto the mountain of Nebo to the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho. And the Lord shewed him all the land of Gilead unto Dan. Verse 2. And all Naphtali and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh and all the land of Judah unto the utmost sea. Verse 2. And the south of the plain of valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees unto Zor. Verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, this is the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, saying.
You understand? And the reason is the Lord brought up Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is because the blessings and the covenant was passed down through these brothers. And of course, we are a patriarchal society, which that's how you know that a certain pretender is not really us because they are matriarchal, or however the hell you pronounce it. I'm sure I messed up somewhere at the end there, but that's how you know that they don't keep the traditions and that their culture is not the same as what's of the people in these scriptures right here. You understand? Go ahead.
Come. I will give it unto thy seed.
And the Lord said that he's going to give this promised land, this land that he had promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he's going to give it unto their seed, unto the children of Israel, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. But one thing our people get wrong is that we have to be in that land in order to receive the blessings from the Lord. When that's not the case. You got to remember, we're still in captivity. You understand? The Lord is going to bring us into this land after Christ comes back with his 200 million angels, or so-called UFOs as the earth knows it today, and destroys the governments of our enemies and their militaries, burns down their cities, you understand, causes for their women to weep in the streets for their children and their husbands, and then we're going to come into these lands after a time, and we're going to rule, and then the earth is going to be put in its rightful place. Go ahead.
I have caused thee to see it with thine eyes, but thou shalt not go over thither. Verse 5.
No, you good. And like we brought out at the beginning of the class, or Slaki the Sabbath service, how it is that Moses would not get to go into that land and experience all these wonderful things because he decided to take credit for what it is that the Lord had done. That's why it's so important for brothers to remember that none of this would be possible without the Most High. None of us would know that we are Israelites. None of us would have gotten off of drugs. None of us would have stopped being Christians. We wouldn't have stopped murdering our brothers, making whores of sisters. We wouldn't have stopped aborting our babies. We would not have stopped any of this if it wasn't for the Lord and the spirit it is that he had put on us to come into this organization, into this school under commanding General Yohanan. We would be like, you understand, any other Christian out here in the world, regardless of what it is they want to call themselves. If they're Muslim, Catholic, you understand, they're spiritual, whatever they call themselves, we would still be that and we would still be destroyed. But thanks be to the Lord, he showed us enough mercy to show us the Isupk. Go ahead.
Verse 5. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 6. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, over against Beth-Peor. But no man knoweth of his sepulchre unto this day. Verse 7. And Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated. Verse 8. And the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days. So the days of weeping and mourning for Moses were ended.
You understand? And that's just our culture as a people, is there's a set time to mourn for somebody it is that is near and dear to you. And then when that set time is over, you got to move on. You understand? So when the set time for mourning for Moses was over, people had to move on. We had to get another leader. Well, another brother that was appointed by the Lord to lead the nation. I don't want to say go get another leader like, it's okay, just go do your own thing, because that's why so many of us vote, thinking that we can go get us a leader that'll look out for us, when in reality, the Lord has to appoint a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian man over you to lead you in the spirit of the Lord. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 9. And Joshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands upon him. And the children of Israel hearkened unto him, and did as the Lord commanded Moses.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 10. And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face.
This is self-explanatory. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And all the signs and the wonders which the Lord...
Salaki, my bad, Kodak, Salaki. I just had to touch on 10 real quick. Like, because so many of our people are deceived in the false prophets today, and really by themselves, when they say that, they have conversations with God and that they have learned from God. When this right here in verse 10, says, and there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. Like Christianity puts that spirit on you where you get to have personal talks with the Lord. You understand? He's right there in the room with you when you're hearing all these voices in your head, when in reality, it's just you talking to yourself. When in reality, it's a demon talking to you, trying to get you to go against the Lord. When what you really need is you need medicine. You need to come to the real priests and prophets so that they can tell you how to get that demon up off of you. Otherwise, you're going to continue. Well, if you haven't yet, you're going to lead the people astray. But if you already are, you're going to continue to lead the people astray. And you're going to continue to pass on this demon of I have a personal relationship with God. I talked to him last night. You understand? We chopped it up. I told him about these holes I was popping and all this and that. Are you going to continue to pass that on until it gets to the point of, in our minds, that the status and the power of the Lord is just nothing. You know, he's just a nigga you have a conversation with on the regular. You know what I'm saying? You get high with him. You run trains with him and all that nonsense. That's really what it is that the Christian church is trying to make the Lord into. Is just someone that's your buddy, that's your pal. When in reality, that's not the case. You understand? He is your father. And like any father, he will discipline you. He will tell you where you're going off track. He ain't trying to hear none of the nonsense and excuses it is that you got. He just wants you to do what the hell he told you to do. Go ahead.
Come, verse 11. And all the signs and the wonders which the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh and to all his servants and to all his land. Verse 12. And in all that mighty hand, and all in all the great terror which Moses shewed in the sight of all Israel.
Mm-hmm. Verse 3 is our last one for that. So you Joshua 1 to 3.
Come. This is the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 1. Now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying.
And real quick, this goes to show that there has to be some kind of pedigree in order for you to take, at least then, in order for you to take, a leadership position amongst the people. You understand? Just like it says that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, meaning that he was the second to Moses. You understand? This is the man that learned from Moses. You know, Moses would give him orders. He'd go out and get things handled. That's how it is that we operate as a nation. It is not just, you be a goddamn young man in this truth and you decide to leave and all of a sudden you are a general. You are a head priest. It's like you are the chosen head priest of Israel. It doesn't work like that. That's why it is that commanding General Yohana is the only one that has been ordained to lead this nation. And does anybody know why? Anybody know why?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I mean, he was chosen. He was born that way. You know what I mean? And he had discipline and everything.
Mm-hmm. But think of it rank wise.
Think what?
So like the 7 heads was at the top. Those are the 7 highest ranking men, but who was right under them rank wise?
Rank wise, who is under them?
Mm-hmm.
The generals?
Mm-hmm. Under the 7 heads. So it was the 7 heads. Commander Yohana took over. Commander Yohana raised up generals under him, captains, officers, troopers, and you got the young men. But rank-wise, back when the seven heads was in the truth, Commanding General Yohana was the highest ranking general in the organization or in the school. He was Commanding General Yohana, the 13 shield general. That's why it is that he has the proper pedigree, why it is that his position is never questioned by anybody in this school, because he was right under the seven heads. When those men dropped their swords, stopped being non-believers, when they died, this man picked up the sword because the Lord put him in that position. What about your fake groups out here, huh? Well, they was troopers. They was officers of 50, barely reading Hebrew, and what? They deserve to lead this nation? They follow after our oppressor, and they deserve to lead this nation? They are bastards who have decided to water down and benefit themselves over their own people. That's who they are. That's why it is this school will never fail, because we have the Most High behind us. Go ahead.
Verse 2.
And that's why Joshua would never fail. You understand? Because he had the Most High behind him. That's why it is that the minute it is that the Lord rose up to lead this nation, when it is that they did have the Lord behind them, that's why they couldn't fail. Because the Lord was with them. Because they had, you understand, either a pedigree or they was chosen by the Lord. Nobody else can even come close to any of that. Nobody else got any kind of pedigree. Nobody else can say that the Lord had chosen them, except for the Isupk. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 2. Moses, my servant, is dead. Therefore arise. Go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel.
Go ahead.
Verse 3. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses.
I'm saying the Lord is letting Joshua and the people know about what land it is that will belong to us as a people. You understand? And like I said, wherever it is that you walk, you understand, that land will belong to you and the children of Israel. You understand? That can be passed down to your sons and your sons' sons and your sons' sons' sons. You understand? Until the end of time. So like you. I said that's it on that for the water.
Come.
That's a powerful reading. Just trying to mark down real quick where it is we'll be picking up. Then we'll go ahead and close out the service. And saying if anybody has any kind of questions, make sure that you tune in on our classes. You understand? Every Wednesday, which is typically taught by priest and officer of 500, Kawamai Par. It's like, what did I say? Is it Tuesday? Or I say Wednesday? Okay. Every Wednesday, it's like we're going out of order. Every Tuesday, taught by the man that has been ordained by the Lord to raise up the brothers and sisters within Indiana, captain of 10,000 Kapash. You understand? It's a brotherhood / scripture breakdown class. Saying, make sure you tune in. If you got any kind of questions, make sure you ask them. You understand? No question is a dumb question. We're all here to learn. And you know, the question it is that you might have, someone else might have it and is just afraid to ask. So make sure you tune into these classes. And of course, Sabbath service every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. You understand? You don't want to miss it, especially in the times it is we're in now. If you're interested in learning about being an Israelite, of course, this is the place to be. If you don't really want to know about being an Israelite, but you're fronting like it, you know, go join some other group. Study their teachings so that we can cut you to piss when we see you on the streets and you try to step to us. It's as simple as that. With that said, just the men behind the podium, Imagine, which means to stand. Slide it. La Yasha'Allah, which means to Israel. So Imagine, which means to stand. Wapunya Hakidam, turn to face the east. This is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Amanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kudash, Ayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakuka, Daba'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazah, Kawar, Hayah, Bashemayim, Nathan, Lanawu, Lakam, Call, Yawam, Wasalakanaw, Wabawatanaw, Kasalakanaw, Bawatinaw, Wala'ah, Dabayayanaw, Banasai 1, Above, Hawashayanaw, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Humalakwa, Wa'ala, Watapar, La'alamyam, Aman. The Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Remember the kak, or the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Babakusha, Nathanahu, Bakak, La Rapa'ah, Karmakala, Ukamarawa, Bakak, Latuhor, Hamatazarayim, Bakak, Lahakim, Hamakim, Bakak, Arakawah, Hatama'alu, Lagarshan, Ba'ashem Yahushua, the one on one. Pray for the power in the English. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Pray for the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh. Wa Yahushua. Wa Yaka'alu. Wa Alahayim. Matazabia. Ala Wakim. Hazaranyum. Ha Quatazayanyum. Ha Hayayum. Wa Quatim. Yahoo. Bashim Yahushai. The water of mud. Pray for the blessings in English. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahushai. And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yahweh. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah. Ayanya. Al-Hohoria. Ma'ayam. Yaba'ah. Aizari. Ma'ayim. Yahweh. Aishah. Shamiyam. Wa'aratazah. All you done. Level what? Regoka. All Yanawam. Shamarka. Hana. La'ah. Yanawam. Wala'ah. Yishun. Shomar. Yasha'al. Yahweh. Shamarka. Yahweh. Tazoka. Al. Yan. Yamyaka. Yomam. Hashamash. La'ah. Yakaka. Where you rock. By your island. Yahweh. It's like Yashamarka. Makol. Rami. Yashamar. Of the pasture. Yahweh. Yashamar. Taza'aka. Wabu'aka. Ra'aika. Wa'aid. I will love. Psalms 121 in English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh. Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim. All Dawiyah. The cup. All Thakarash. All the Shaquat. All Kaya. Hana. Awayabika. Yahweh. Yawan. Ra'ach. Al-Aimaka. Ya'ariyamwa. Sawana. Wayata. Ya'aitazabwa. Al-Tazapawanyika. Amarwa. Lakawa. Walakidam. Mongolia. Wala'ah. Yazkar. Sham. Yasha'ala. Aiwana. Kaya. Nawa'atazabwa. Nobah. Yakadwa. Al-Yaka. Baya. Yakarakwa. Ahoya. Alawam. Wayashimai. Alayam. Mawa'aba. Wagaria. Gabal. Wa'aimawan. Wa'aimalak. Palashah. Yeshabia. Tazawar. God. Anshawar. Nalawa. Amon. Hayawa. Zarawai. Labanya. Lawak. Selah. Aisha. Laham. Kamalia. Kasha Yashra. Ba'ayin da'ara. Haywa. The mud. La'adama. Shayin thumba. Nara. Yam mama. Ka'ira. What is the Abba? What is the Abba? It's like, what is the Bak? What is the Zor? Benai. Ko. That's how you come with. Ashore. A Marwa. No, you shot. The Nawa. Nawa. Al-Hayam. Al-Hayam. Shaitumwa. Kagol Gullah. Kakwach. Lapanya. Roka. Ka'ach. Dama'ira. Ya'ira. Wakalahaba. Dalahab. Haryam. Khan. Dardakma. Basa'irika. Wabasa. Wapaka. Tabahalam. Mala'a. Panyaham. Palawan. Wibukashwa. Shukah. Yahweh. Yabashwa. It's like Webawa. Aya. Ay. Wekparwa. Weyabadwa. Wedaiwa. Kaya. Adam. It's like Shukah. Yahweh. Labaka. Ayabun. Ko. Ha'aratiza. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thou silence. O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. And be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. That the name of Israel might be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Selah. Do unto them and unto the Midianites, and to Sisera, and to Jabin, at the brook of Kazan, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make them noble like a rat, and like Seir. Yea, all their princes, and Seba, and as Zamuda, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. Oh, my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burning the wood, and as the flame set the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled. to it now.
Listen to it now.
Right now.
Right now.
To the evils and curses.
To the evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
That speak against us.
That speak against us.
The prophets.
The prophets.
The teachers.
The teachers.
The princes.
The princes.
The priests.
The priests.
The Israelite brothers.
The Israelite brothers.
And the school.
And the school.
To the evils and curses.
To the evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
And shake loose the treasure.
And say loose the treasure.
Of the rich of Israel.
Of the rich of Israel.
They refuse to give to the school.
That we be taken to school.
Force their riches.
Force their riches.
To enter into that sanctuary.
And to enter into our sanctuary.
To the evils and curses.
To the evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nations.
And the nations.
And the drug dealers.
And the drug dealers.
The court system.
The court system.
The prison system.
Prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments are enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
And the best synagogues and armies.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
The Pope.
Islam.
Islam.
Christianity.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Egyptology.
Militia.
Militia.
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation.
Skinheads.
Yeah.
Posse Comitazi.
Posse Comitazi.
The gay movement.
The gay movement.
The lesbian movement.
Lesbian movement.
Spies.
Spies.
Workers of witchcraft.
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space program.
NASA space program.
Army.
Army.
Navy.
Navy.
Air Force.
Air Force.
Marine.
Marines.
Wall Street.
Wall Street. Wall Street.
Open up the internet.
Open up the internet.
And the airways.
The airways.
The cable access channel.
Cable access channel.
And the radio channel.
And the radio channel.
Convict the spirit.
Convict the spirit.
Of any of thy people.
Any of our people.
That seek to stop us.
That seek to stop us.
And bring swift destruction.
And bring swift destruction.
To all the heathens.
To all the heathens.
That stand in the way.
That stand in the way.
Or try to stop us.
Try to stop us.
From broadcasting your word.
Broadcasting your word.
Throughout the planet Earth.
Throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Through the earth.
Through the earth.
And consume them.
And consume them.
Let the plagues.
Let the plagues.
Shake the house of the thief.
Shake the house of the thief.
And the murderer.
And the murderers.
Let Yahweh shine.
Let Yahweh shine.
Michael and Gabriel.
Michael and Gabriel.
Come down with the flying saucers.
Come down with the flying saucers.
And punish all the heathens.
And punish all the heathens.
That come up against us.
That come up against us.
As we speak thy word.
As we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known.
Cause it to be known.
By all.
By all.
That is the angels that have done it.
That is the angel that have done it.
Cause it to be spread.
Cause it to be spread.
Through the media.
Through the media.
Throughout the whole world.
Throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always.
Always.
So be it.
So be it.
Sir, which means to turn. We are going to be taking the scrolls to be saluted. Since it's just troopers in here, there is no specific order you have to go in. Brother, approach. I'll walk you through what you got to do. And you can line up behind, just whoever's second, just line up behind the other brother. Go ahead. So, Amajim Shabbat, I Majim, you come to Barak, put your fists on the scrolls, We'll say Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Barak Yah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakia.
You just spin out. Yep. And you just repeat it, Tazabah. It's on it.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakia.
Right. All right, this concludes the Isupk Indianapolis Sabbath service. Akwathian, Yeshabia, or sisters, be seated. We're going to give a salute to the brothers, men of Israel. Imajim Shabbat, Imajim Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatham, Yagim Matah. Sisters, Imajim, which means to stand. I'm going to give a salute to the sisters, men of Israel. Imajim Shabbat, Imajim Barak, Yahweh Shema Hashem Yahushua, Yagim Matah. So does anybody want to be anointed? Either you want to be anointed, or be anointed for that? All right, I'll be the only one saying this prayer. Kodak, when I point to you, you'll say your name, and then we'll go through it in English.
Okay.
So the anointing prayer in the Hebrew, Yabaraka. It's like a Yabaraka Yahweh, Wayashamaraka, Ya'ar Yahweh, Hanyawa, Al-Yaka, Wayakunka, Yasha'a Yahweh. Hanyawa, Al-Yaka, Wayasham, Laka, Shalom, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Barak, Rapah, Magun, Hagun. Say your name.
Kodak.
Kodak. Say your name.
Kodak.
Kodak. Say your name.
Kodak.
Kodak. Ba'ashem Yahushua, Tawada Aman. Anointing prayer in English. Yahweh, bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh, make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh, lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless, heal, shield, protect, trooper Kodak. With that, clap it up.